Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggy, and joining me as usual back this week, Derek. How are you doing down there, Derek?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Have a lot going on in my personal life. Just got a lot going on
Yeah,
and staying busy. So that's always good to stay busy.
yeah. It's all I've been busy. That's
Yeah,
why we don't do the show on Tuesdays anymore. Because last night I would have been
a
no good at
nightmare.
all. I would have been no good at all last night, man. uh, I had to take my little dog, my little Chihuahua, to the vet this morning because she was having some issues not being able to put her back left paw down, and they're saying she's developing arthritis in her back left knee and stuff. And
Yeah.
she's just getting old.
Yeah, we have a dog that's probably 9 years old, and he's gotten pretty bad where he kind of lays around a lot, and then he has really bad hips,
Yeah,
and he's part Chihuahua, part Corgi, so he has just enough energy, and I kind of hate it, but he has just enough energy to get on the couch
mm-hmm.
from the floor, which is quite a jump for him. So
Right,
he does like 5 test jumps. He sits there and raises stuff up. He can get up on the couch, and then once he's up there until somebody gets him down.
oh,
But usually he wants to be up there for 12 hours. He just wants to lay there and
right,
just sleep and be lazy. But then you have to
right,
get him off the couch, and it's kind of getting annoying though because he's older, and he'll just sit there and bark when he's ready to get off the couch. But other than that, he'll just lay there and hang out. So yeah, it sucks when you have a dog that gets old. You want to keep them around as long as possible, but it becomes pretty obvious they're in a lot of pain.
right. Both of mine are getting old.
Yeah, why don't you pin some comments there and let us know what's going on, buddy?
Let's see here. Chris Unruh says, hi, Rick and Derek. Okay, Chris. Kelly says, hey. Let's
Hey,
see
Kelly.
here. Esther says, hello, Ricky and Derek. Kelly says, love you guys. Heather Berry says, hey, guys. Mariah Bay Sawyer, hello from McPherson, Kansas. Ellen Dotson, hello from Leavenworth. Juliana Marie Holmes, hello from Great Bend. And Jelena Noel Carpenter, hello from Olathe.
Nice.
Cool.
Got a lot of folks
Well,
here.
hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us and get the show shared out there so we can get a bunch of people on here and helping us out share these flyers and shows and everything.
Yeah, it's very much appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
Could not do it without you. Could not do it without you. And I'm glad Ricky changed our logo up there because I
Yeah.
forgot last week. Let's go ahead and do what we do here, man. Let's cover
Yeah.
some cases. Ryan Larson, I saw it was either a TikTok or some kind of, but it was outside of our world. It wasn't a flyer you shared. Somebody had done like some kind of expose, kind of curious about what happened to Ryan Larson, and it made me remember that we covered his case for a long time, and then the last time we had left off, his mom was sort of fighting the powers that be, wanting to declare him legally dead,
Right.
which is an odd thing for me as a parent, but apparently there's some reasons for that. But Ricky's going to read you this flyer, and we'll kind of go. We can kind of go from there. But Ricky, what's going on with this case?
Okay, well, this is Ryan Larson, missing from La Vista, Nebraska since May 17th, 2021. He was 11 when he went missing. He's now 14 and will soon be 15 in June. He's 5'8", 125 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. Ryan walked out of La Vista Elementary School located at 78th and Terry Drive in La Vista Monday about noon. Last confirmed sighting of Ryan was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday. He is autistic and considered high functioning. Prior to his disappearance, Ryan had done searches regarding hiding from the police, hiding underground, and how to avoid being spotted. At the time of his disappearance, he was 11. Again, he's 14. 5'8", 125, brown hair and hazel eyes. He's last known to be wearing a black jacket pictured on the far right, blue jeans, and old navy shirt, and had a polka dot umbrella, which they did find near a dumpster, which led them to believe that maybe he meant to climb in the dumpster. And I know they did a big old search in the landfill, but never found anything. He did have a backpack with him, but it's unknown if he had any supplies or just books and normal school supplies. Law enforcement is also considering foul play in Ryan's disappearance. Police are asking if you see Ryan, do not approach him. Instead, follow him at a safe distance and call 911 immediately. Or call the La Vista, Nebraska Police Department at 402-331-1582. And see if we can't help get some information generated on what happened to Ryan.
Yeah. I remember really focusing on that. Really trying to focus on that dumpster, but it seems like
Mhm.
they've pretty well exhausted that route. They've looked at all of the places that they might have, possibly had issues like that. They looked at all those places, and
Right.
to me, yeah, like it's just one of those things that's who knows, man. At the end of the day, who knows what's going on with
Yeah.
the story, dude? It is very wild.
And outside of the mom wanting him declared dead, I haven't seen anything other than that since. So
Yeah. You don't you're not familiar. Have you heard you haven't heard anything on the news about them actually declaring him dead? Do you remember the reason why she wanted? There was a reason. Like it wasn't like she was just trying to be morbid. I think it was,
I
obviously
can't
anytime you
remember
have a human
now.
being, there's paperwork involved.
Something.
Um I can look it up here.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember it wasn't for like, nefarious reasons or anything. I remember
No,
it
no.
says in her petition, Tammy Larson said that due to his autism diagnosis and other medical condition, Ryan was exposed to a specific peril or tragedy resulting in probable death under circumstances that may be proved by clear and convincing evidence. What does that mean? Why is a mom talking like that on her missing
I'm not
kid,
sure.
Ricky? Am I weird for thinking that's odd that she's like saying like, well, based on, his autism, he's totally dead. That's weird, right?
Right.
Tammy said she intends to make a claim with Pavilion La Vista Community Schools over the apparent death of her son, and she needs a death certificate to make a claim over the death of her son. So she's trying to cash in on it.
I don't know. That's what it sounds like, but
Yeah. Larson alleges Ryan is dead due to negligence or wrongful act or omission of the school. So she needs them to declare her son dead so she can sue the school.
okay.
That's got my spidey senses going off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ricky. Like we've been doing this show for several years. Like if one of my kids goes missing, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be one of those parents that you're going to have to bring me a body to prove to me that my kid's dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I just feel like I'd be that kind of father.
Right. Me too.
And I wouldn't be worried about a lawsuit. What are you worried about a lawsuit for? Your kid's gone.
Right. No, I would be worrying about that maybe after the body was found, but not before. But
Tammy said any efforts to find her son became a recovery effort because he was presumed dead. We were not made aware of any court filings by Miss Larson. We have just learned about this today. We are still investigating the disappearance of Ryan Larson. The school said this is a tragic situation. The schools will continue to support Ryan's family, the staff and students, and the community. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna do some digging into that. Like again, I just thought it was weird that a mom would petition to have, basically say, "Hey, I want you to say, I want you to say my kid's, deceased." That's a little weird,
right.
And I remember whenever we had first started covering this case, his search history was about like survival and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows if any, I've been watching these documentaries. Like, there's this one case where this girl went like they never declared her missing because she kept communicating with people, but one day she just started acting different. She abandoned her family. She never returned. Nobody ever saw her. She was sending crazy text messages, and it took the police like 4 years to realize she was murdered, and somebody was just pretending to be her.
Oh, wow.
So like, even though we have this crazy technology where you type something into a cell phone, that it's kind of there forever, but even then you never know who's actually typing it, but this whole thing is kind of crazy to me, in my opinion.
Right. And I've actually ran into that a couple times over the last couple months where I've had people message me and say, "Hey, I heard from such and such." They message me and I remind them that they may have contacted you, but that's still not considered located, because until law enforcement physically sees and talks to them to verify they're okay, police are going to still consider them missing because they want to verify they're okay and safe. Because like you were just saying, it could be anybody, typing that message out.
Yeah, like, oh, it looks like here he Googled a bunch of survival stuff. That's weird.
Yeah.
Heather Berry, why would you claim that? That's crazy. Chris Unruh, sounds very suspicious to me too, especially to know that it's for a lawsuit. kind of crazy. But we'll continue covering. I'll try to look into it, see if I can find anything out this week, and we'll try to touch back on it next week. I'll leave it in here.
Okay.
Ricky, tell our audience about Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond. We've been covering this case since we've met each other. Obviously, still no resolution. Really sad situation.
Yeah, it is actually. Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond, missing from Moscow, Colorado since August 15th, 2019. She was 30 when she went missing. She's now 35, 5'6", 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen walking away from her Moscow, Colorado home. She left all her belongings behind, including her phone, her identification, medication, car, computer, tools, and pet dog. Rochelle had only been living in the area for about 3 weeks prior to her disappearance. She'd previously lived in Columbus, Ohio. She may be homeless, although police can find little evidence in her disappearance. Her mother believes she did not leave of her own accord and may have been a human trafficking victim. Rochelle suffers from bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and has been prescribed medication for her conditions, which she left behind. Rochelle's nose is pierced. She has numerous tattoos, including the phrase "Live like a lion" on her upper chest, star behind her ear, a skull on the back of her wrist, stars on the inside of her forearm, a cat with a bong on her shoulder, and other tattoos. There are some pictures down there at the bottom of the flyer you can see there. She was last known to be wearing a black tank top, khaki shorts, black Nike shoes, and a silver circular barbell in her nose. If you have any information regarding Rochelle's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Alamosa County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-589-6608 and see if we can't help get Rochelle located and back to her family.
2019, 5 years, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long time if you're her family or friends, want to know where she's at.
Right.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So 35 years old.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good. People watching, did Facebook alert you at a show tonight? We were noticing Facebook's been having some type of issues today, so we were kind of curious if anybody is anybody experiencing anything like that? Because we've both been having some issues with Facebook in the last day.
Yeah, I was having a hard time getting this show scheduled because Facebook, the StreamYard kept saying Facebook was having some issues. Check back later or try it again later. And I'm like, well, okay.
I have a feeling Facebook's going to go down within the next 30 days. Not forever, but based by how it's been acting for me, I have a feeling Facebook's going to go down in the next 30 days. It's not acting.
Well, I hope not. I hope not. That means I'll be posting everything to Twitter. Oh, sheesh. Or, excuse me, X, because now they've even changed the URL from twitter.com to x.com. So,
yeah.
Angela
Marie Hammond. What's going on here? Wow. Yeah. Long time ago.
Yeah, missing from Clinton, Missouri since April 4th, 1991. She was 19 when she went missing. She's now 53, 4'11", weighs between 120 and 140 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Angela was talking to her fiance, Rob Schaefer, at a telephone booth in a parking lot outside the Food Barn store in the center of town in the area of Jefferson Street and 2nd Street. Angela told him she was too tired to meet him as planned, that she would go to their home and take a bath instead. She also told him a suspicious man was circling the parking lot in his old truck. Angela described him as a filthy, bearded man. She said he parked his truck near the booth and got out of it with a flashlight as if he was looking for something. Suddenly, Schaefer heard Angela scream, then the line went dead. Her car was later found abandoned in the parking lot. Schaefer immediately drove to the phone booth. On the way there, he passed a late 1960s or early 70s model green Ford F-150 pickup truck. Heard Angela scream his name, Rob. Schaefer followed the vehicle for about a mile on 2nd Street and Culvert, but his own car's transmission failed and he had to stop driving. Schaefer stated the truck he saw had a decal of water or an outdoor scene completely covering the rear window, possibly a white top, and possible damage to its left front fender. Witnesses reported seeing a Caucasian male driving a similar truck near the telephone booth at the time Angela disappeared. The man, who had never been identified, was wearing coveralls and a dark-colored baseball cap. He had eyeglasses, a beard, and a mustache. If you have any information regarding Angela's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Clinton, Missouri Police Department at 660-885-5561 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422 and see if we can't help find out what happened to Angela and where she may be. and get her brought home. I remember watching an episode of Unsolved Mysteries on her case. It's quite interesting.
Wow, that one made all the way to Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Yep. With
Like
Robert
the original
Stack.
Unsolved Mysteries. Robert Stack
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Mr.
You think
Elliot
he's one of
has
the
his
main
own
reasons you
problem.
got into this?
Do what?
You think he's one of the main reasons you got into this?
It might have been. I don't remember. I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries and stuff like that a lot when it first ran and stuff like that. And I watch the reruns. Sometimes I'll veg out on them on YouTube now. So
Yeah, man. It's wild, man. Like that show really changed American culture as far as how we view crimes and stuff. And again, I think it's really easy to look at it and be like, wow, people are really into like really gross stuff. But at the end of the day, like I think a lot of it is just trying to, and I think it's good for catching people that do crimes and finding people that are missing. But I
right.
think it does intrigue people, like looking into the human experience, like what makes somebody tick, what makes somebody. And you watch enough interrogation videos, dude. A lot of these behaviors, a lot of these perps have the same issues. You know what I mean? Like they're pretty. Their tells are the same, you know. Like that's why there's been so many detectives that have written books on like MOs of these people. You know, it's just a bad part of society, man. They're out there. Let's go ahead.
Another show I like to watch is the First 48. And a lot of times there's parts in there where they're talking to their suspect, and even though they have all this evidence, knowing that their suspect did it, he's, oh man, I swear to God, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I'm like, okay. Yeah, they got video, they got witnesses that are saying, oh yeah, he did it. But the suspect will still sit there and lie on his butt. Oh, I didn't do it. I swear to God, I swear on my mama, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
People will straight up lie. They're you know, you put somebody up against the wall, they will try to lie their way out of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a lot of interrogation videos just for that reason, man, just to try to understand people. I started out in sales. I was trying to figure out if I could read body language better so I could see like, the potential clients I was talking to, like what they were feeling, but it's just kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy. Cole Daniel Firestein, missing for a long time. We get another one we've covered since pretty much the beginning.
Yeah, he's missing from Leavenworth, Kansas since March 15, 2019. Was 24 when missing. He's now 30. He's 5'8", 300 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He is legally blind when he's not wearing his glasses. He had no ID on him at the time of his disappearance. He'd previously lived in Atchison, Kansas, and only been living in the Leavenworth area for about 2 weeks before he vanished. At the time of his disappearance, Cole was 24. He's now 30. He's 5'8", 300 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. He was last known to be wearing a South Pole brand navy blue jacket with red and white stripes down the side and arms, jeans, and may possibly be not wearing shoes. If you have any information regarding Cole's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Leavenworth, Kansas Police Department at 913-651-2260 or 913-682-4211. Or the Clue hotline at 913-682-2583, or the KBI at 800-572-7463, and see if we can't get Cole located and back to where he needs to be. And that was one of the cold case cards that I did flyers for back here a year ago or so.
This is one of those flyers when we first started working together. I was like, if you look at the pictures, Cole's flyer is a really good example of how the human can change. He looks different in every single picture. The far left two pictures, he kind of look similar, but you take the far left, the middle, and then the far right, it looks like three different people.
Yeah.
Like the pictures it's good to have pictures of people, but literally it doesn't take much to change somebody's complete appearance.
Yeah. And Chris Sanders says, I used to watch America's Most Wanted with John Walsh. Yeah, I used to watch that one too.
New season, yeah. I don't know. I tried to get into like the new installments of Unsolved Mysteries, but to me, Robert Stack kind of carried the show. He was he was the meat and potatoes of it, in my opinion, man.
He was the voice.
Yeah. Colton Ross Barrera, from my understanding, his father's from my parts, Elkhart, Kansas.
All right. Colton Barrera, missing from Russell, Kansas on September 26th of 2008. 17 when he went missing. He's now 33. He's 5'9", 135 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Friend dropped him off at an outdoor skate park. Colton was supposed to call his friend when he wanted to be picked up, but he never did. Authorities believe he left on his own of his own accord, but Colton's family doesn't believe this because he wasn't having any problems that would cause him to run away, and he did leave his wallet and his identification behind. Information suggests that Colton may have been killed and his body hidden. Colton's case does remain unsolved. If you have any information regarding Colton's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Kansas City field office of the FBI at 816-512-8200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 or the Russell County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 785-483-2151. And his mom requested that the field office of the FBI is the first place to call. She wants them called first to get them back involved in the case again.
Okay. Well, that's pretty odd, man. That was a long time ago, and young kid. Pretty odd situation.
Right. Yeah, let's see. I got a couple of comments that just caught my eye here. Elaine Ladd says it's awful. My nephew's been missing since October 2007. Elaine, did I ever do a flyer for your nephew? And then Jelena Noel Carpenter, you personally helped me make a flyer when my child was missing. She is safe, but I wanted to say thank you. You're very welcome, Jelena. I'm glad it helped you get her found.
Awesome. That's
Real
awesome.
quick, when I took my dog to the vet this morning, the gal that was working behind the desk was looking pretty rough this morning. Just had my ball cap on my bed head and everything this morning when I took her over there because I pretty much got up and took her over and the gal that was working, she goes, "Don't you do Kansas Missing and Unsolved?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." She's caught a few of the shows and knows the page well, so I was just surprised at that this morning. She recognized me.
You got recognized in public.
Yeah.
Happens to me all the time. Like, aren't you that guy that owes me money? I'm like, dang it.
That's like the second time that I've been asked that. I was like, oh, yeah, that's me.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. There's some people that get my brother confused with me. They think he's the one that does the missing, and I'm the one that does the scanner page. It's like, no, it's the other way around.
Yeah. Well, that's cool,
Yeah,
man.
there's a Facebook page for Colton, and the comments on there are wild. Everyone thinks they know, but nothing has been. Nothing has been done. Okay.
I'll check
No
it out.
flyer due to being outside of Kansas. Well,
Send it. You'll make it.
Yeah, I do flyers for outside of Kansas all the time. So if you can give me some pictures and some information and stuff like that, I can get a flyer made definitely.
You can go to kmupod.com and you can upload it that way, or you can just message Ricky on Facebook on the page you're watching on, and we'll get it over.
And Moonbeams asked me if my dog's okay. Yeah, she's got arthritis in her hips and knees, and they've given me some stuff to give her for pain and inflammation. So hopefully that'll help her out a little bit. She was having a pretty hard time yesterday. She seems to be a little bit better today, but still favoring that left leg. She doesn't like to put it down on the floor much.
Yeah. Sounds like my dog, man. He's got a back leg that's just really, really hurting him.
There's my brother says I get up for flyers all the time. I bet you do. And Elaine says I can do that. Sweet, thanks. You're very welcome. Moonbeam. Oh, Don. Hey, Don. How you doing?
That's awesome. Jennifer Judd.
Yeah, we covered her last week too, but I wanted to cover her again because that reward they just added to that.
Nice. There's some movement.
Yeah. This is Jennifer Judd, May 11th, 1992, Baxter Springs, Kansas. She's a 20-year-old newlywed, was fatally stabbed on May 11th, 1992, just 9 days after marrying her high school sweetheart, Justin Judd. She had graduated from, I guess that's Pitcher High School in 1990, and Justin from, I don't know if that's Quapaw High School in 1989. They decided to live in Baxter Springs, Kansas to start their life together. On the day of her death, Jennifer was involved in post-wedding activities such as sending out thank you cards for wedding gifts and preparing a wedding dress for cleaning. Justin, who worked in Riverton, Kansas, called Jennifer around 8:30 or 9 to ask her to bring him his lunch, but she never arrived. He discovered Jennifer's body in their duplex around 2:45 p.m. with multiple stab wounds to the chest. Despite investigations and suspicions, including the belief that Jennifer may have been stalked, no one has ever been brought to trial for her murder. Justin Judd, who was cleared of any involvement, has since remarried and has children. The case remains unsolved, leaving Jennifer's family and loved ones longing for justice and closure after more than 3 decades. Jennifer's family, including her sisters, continue to grieve and remember her on the anniversary of her murder. They visit her grave to honor her memory and reflect on the milestones that she's missed. Jennifer's life was tragically cut short, and her family hopes that one day the killer will be brought to trial. If you have any information regarding Jennifer Judd's murder, please call the Baxter Springs, Kansas Police Department at 620-856-2112 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. And I believe it was last week, the governor did issue a reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Jennifer's murder. So if anybody has any information, no matter how minute or little you think that information may be, get that called in, because it could just be the piece that they need to solve this puzzle. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Yes, Terry, she's home. She's actually resting in Sammy's kennel. So
I only know about Baxter Springs because that's where they used to do like the end of the season, like Little League World Series, I think. Well, the Little League like championship, whatever, for Kansas.
yeah.
And to me, Baxter Springs is always like the exact opposite of Elkhart, Kansas. It's just on the opposite side of the state. But no, it wasn't like a huge, it's pretty close to Joplin if I remember right, but it's a pretty smallish town. It's crazy when you see these crazy unsolved, crimes from, this long ago, and like, people are talking, like Salina is kind of huge compared to like Elkhart and Baxter Springs.
Mm-hmm.
But even, like when stuff happens there, like there's rumors and stuff, like it's just crazy that with this amount of time has gone by, this amount of technology, this amount of information sharing, that because I just refuse to believe that there's nobody out there that doesn't know exactly what happened and they're just sitting on it. But I think they would steep the pot. I think they would tell people what they know.
Yeah, we had one happen up here in Brookville just a couple of days ago where, for whatever reason, the guy shot his wife in the stomach with a shotgun. She had surgery yesterday and was supposed to have another one today. And last update was that they pretty confident she's going to survive, but it's going to severely alter her way of life. Like I said, he used a shotgun. So,
sheesh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And he's sitting in jail, and she's in Wichita. They're trying to keep her going. So, sounds like they're pretty optimistic that she's going to make a pretty decent recovery, but it is going to alter her life quite a bit.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And Marlene Horde Benjamin says, "Good evening. Been waiting to listen to you all day." Well, thank you.
Awesome. I think she's talking about you. You just have a soothing, WKRP Cincinnati voice.
Yeah.
You really got me into that show. I watch it a lot now.
I
didn't know it existed until you started doing references about it. Then I started.
Yeah.
It's all on YouTube from where I found. I know that you have them, but like you can go to YouTube and pretty much watch like every. But yeah, it's a good show, man.
Yeah. I wish they would have ran it one more season. They were supposed to run it one more season, and then CBS, in their ultimate stupidity, decided to cancel it. So, because the following season they were supposed to run, KRP was going to jump to the number one station in Cincinnati, but CBS blew it out of the water. So, interesting little piece of trivia there. Okay, we're doing Megan Fogelsong, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. She's missing from Alden, Kansas since December 2015. She was 21 when she went missing. She's now 30, 5'4", 150 pounds, sandy blonde hair and green eyes. Her last activity on Facebook was November 30th, 2015. There was an unconfirmed sighting around Christmas time 2015 at Guy's Liquor Store in Larned. At the time of Megan's disappearance, again, she was 21. She's now 30. She's 5'4" and weighs around 150 pounds. Her weight does fluctuate. She has sandy blonde hair that she does dye occasionally, and she has green eyes. She wears glasses, but she does have contact lenses. She does have a tattoo on her left hip of a flower design. She also has a tattoo on her left wrist of a heart design. It's kind of a heart with the infinity in it there. It says thick, thin. and a tattoo on her upper right chest, and you can kind of see him up there at the top of the flyer there. She also has a tattoo on her outer left calf of a dream catcher. Um, as we all know, his name is David Madden, I believe, was the prime person that was suspected in her disappearance, but he's since no longer with us. He, for whatever reason, went to his dad's house and murdered his dad, and then sheriff's deputies were chasing him down and managed to run him off the road. When they approached the vehicle, a gunshot rang out, and they found him dead in his car. So, I'm hoping that there's somebody else out there somewhere that may know what happened to Megan that just, for whatever reason, hasn't spoke up. Will actually speak up. I don't know. But, I mean, if you have any information regarding Megan's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Rice County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-257-7876 or 620-257-2363, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't help get Megan found and back home where she belongs. It's been long enough. She just needs to be brought home and brought back to her family. I just still can't get over Madden murdering his dad and then turn around and doing himself.
That was his last shebang. It just makes you really your mind go crazy with what could have happened with Megan.
Makes me wonder if his dad didn't know what happened to Megan, but he didn't want his dad saying anything, so he made sure that wasn't going to happen.
I mean, if you're going to get in a shootout with if you're like suiciding by cop or whatever, however this happened, you're right. Like taking out his dad, like sure you could argue maybe he had just snapped and he would take out anybody in the room, right? But I would very well be like, seems like somebody was silencing a storyline, like.
Right.
I've said too much to this person. I'm gonna take them with me. So, and again, like the coward thing is real because, my opinion, this guy probably knew he wasn't going to be alive much longer. Whenever the whole police thing happens,
right?
And like to just choose to, like that's evil. To choose to be like, you know what, try to get the information out of me after I'm gone. You can't. It's like. Like the cat's out of the bag. You're being chased down. Enough's enough. But no, just gonna take it to the next level, And then here we are, all these years later. Still, this girl hasn't been seen since she was 21 years old. It's crazy.
Right. It's, I guess, be the ultimate way to stick it to the family. I guess to make sure that they definitely never know, but. Hopefully one day somebody that might actually still know will speak up and say something. And we can hope.
Yeah.
We can hope.
What about Christian Olivares?
Okay. And I don't know if I got a chance to tell you about him and two others. A few weeks ago, I was invited to attend a seminar in Kansas City hosted by Corey's Network, which is a organization put together by Corey's mom. He was murdered in Kansas City, and his murder was unsolved for quite some time. And they eventually did finally find out who did it and arrested him. But she put together this meeting, and it had mothers of sons that were murdered and unsolved. And they asked me to speak to the moms to see if I could be of any kind of help. So Christian and two others, Gatson and Stewart, I made flyers for her, and I told them I would cover them. I'd get them on the page, and see if we can't help generate information for them and things like that. And they were very appreciative of that. And this is one of the three, Christian Olivares. It was back in December 30th of 2018. 10:18 p.m. Kansas City, Missouri police officers were dispatched to 7500 Oakland Avenue in regards to a shooting. Christian Olivares was found beside a house with multiple gunshot wounds. Christian arrived in a white Ford Explorer and was approached by two unknown suspects. It's unknown who Christian was meeting at the time of his death. If you have any information regarding Christian's death, please call Detective Heather Leslie at 816-234-5213 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477, or you can go to crimestoppers.com or the p3tips.com, where you can scan that nice little QR code that says "Say It Here," and you can submit your tip that way as well. So if you have any information regarding Christian's murder, please call that in and let them know what you know.
Wow. A lot of unsolved homicides.
Yeah.
When did you do that last deck of cards? What time of year was that?
It's been about a year ago or so.
Do they try to do that annually, or that's a big project? Do they just kind of do that every couple of years, or?
Well, other states do it every year, so I don't know if Kansas is going to follow suit with that or
Was that
not. I
Kansas's
need to.
first time doing a
Yeah,
deck?
yeah,
Okay,
that
so
was
yeah,
their first. That was their
you
first.
know, they knocked it out of the park. Great deck, but I've never even seen one in person, but you've shown me yours on camera.
Yeah,
When I saw that, like all I saw was just a massive amount of work. So
yeah,
I think, yeah, like I hope to see them keep doing it, but I know that was a lot of resources they had to use to get that to happen. Like you were helping them out crazy, like it's like,
yeah,
but you were just a piece of that team. So that was my
yeah,
only worry with it. I was like, man, they're amazing, they look amazing, but I bet it was a lot of hard work. And then to redo that every year, people have jobs. You have a job. It's just hard, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really cool that they exist.
Yeah, I sent them 35 flyers for 35 cases for consideration, and several of them did wind up in there. So,
That's really
but
cool,
they
man.
also said they contacted law enforcement agencies all around the state, sheriff's offices, police departments,
Yeah.
and got input from them as well. So,
Well, there's a lot of cases, man. A lot of
oh
cases.
yeah, oh yeah. And this is the second of the three there. This is Jeremiah Taylor Stewart. He was 16 years old. He was shot Monday night, June 25th, 2018, near 36th in the 3600 block of Wabash in Kansas City. Police have not said anything about a motive or released any information. I worded it for the double homicide because he was with another young man that was also shot and killed, but for whatever reason, that young man's mother doesn't want his name out there. So, I don't know. I took it out of there. And I didn't fix the rest of the flyer at the bottom where it says, hey, if you have any information regarding the shooting death of Jeremiah Stewart, call the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477. I need to fix that line because it's all messed up. But yeah, we need to see if we can help get information generated in Jeremiah's case too as well. He had, believe, aspirations of being a pro football player, which got cut short, obviously. But let's see if we can help get some justice for his mom and his family and friends, and call in what you know, no matter how minute you think that information might be.
Yeah. Got to call it in. 251 missing juveniles currently in the state of Kansas as of May 29th, 10:12 p.m. 413 adults.
Hey, Robin, I'm reading your comment here. Is there a good podcast that might do a story about my brother's disappearance murder? Have we ever done him on our podcast? Because we can definitely do it.
I also know some people who do deep dives, like some further, like me and Ricky kind of read flyers, and we try as much as possible to stay away from speculation. We don't want to add any, dust to the situation, but
Right.
we do know some podcasters that are willing to kind of go further than we're comfortable with going. With we're just trying to
Right.
just get the word out there and also get the facts out there and try to keep the speculation. We can't keep it out of the comment section on Ricky's page,
Right.
but we try to
Right.
keep it off the show as much as possible because
Okay.
at the end of the
Richard
day,
Salisbury. I believe
speculation is really dangerous to anybody who didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, we've covered Richard Salisbury several times on
Sounds
the show, but we
familiar.
can sure cover him again. That's not a problem at all.
Right.
Yeah, we can get him on next week's show, definitely.
Yeah.
We just
Let's
did.
talk about Matthew Gatson whenever you get that written down.
Yeah, he is the third of the three whose mother I spoke to that night. I did it via Zoom. I didn't go to Kansas City. I wasn't able to, so I did it via Zoom. So I spoke to him that way. This is Matthew Gatson Jr. He was 20. He was shot and killed in a car in broad daylight while he and his fiancee were driving down the road in Kansas City. His fiancee, Rain Spriggs, was driving the car that day and was also shot. The couple was driving back after going to the gun range and running errands for the holidays. Spriggs says a gray-colored SUV that Gatson had previously told her to watch out for pulled up next to him and started shooting. Spriggs believes Gatson knew someone was after him, but she doesn't know who that would be. Law enforcement has the vehicle in custody for processing. So if you have any information regarding Matthew's death, please call the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department at 816-234-5111 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477. And again, see if we can't get some justice for Matthew and his family and friends. And spread the word on these. Share these flyers. Get them out there.
Wow.
Let's see. Yep, I did create a flyer. I did create a flyer for Richard Salisbury when he went missing. And you were very welcome. And KBI still has nothing. That's crazy. The KBI still doesn't have anything on his case. We would definitely I'll get his flyer reshared and we'll get him covered again next week so we can get him back out there.
Wow.
That's just crazy. The KBI still doesn't have anything on that.
Yikes. We will get to work on that. We will try to get that to be a different scenario because that's not good.
Yeah.
Jody Brooke Anderson looks like a Nashville, Tennessee case from 2017, a long time ago.
Yeah, this was one that was requested on the show last week. So I said, hey, yeah, I will definitely get a flyer made up and we will cover her. She's missing from Nashville, Tennessee since June 5th of 2017. She was 18 when she went missing. She's now 25. She's 5'4", 160 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She goes by her middle name, Brooke. She frequented the area of Brick Church Pike and Trinity Lane. The last person to have seen her was an officer with the Nashville Police Department who gave her a citation that day and then let her go on her way. She's never been heard from or seen again. She was very active on Facebook, but has not made any posts on her account or responded to any messages since her disappearance. She did leave behind a 1-year-old son. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 18. She's now 25. She's 5'4", weighs 160 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. Her upper lip is pierced. She has a tattoo of the phrase "Daughter of a King" on the higher side of her left side of her chest there. There are a few details available in her case, but foul play is suspected. If you have any information regarding Jody's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Nashville, Tennessee Metropolitan Metro Police Cold Case Unit at 615-862-7329 or Nashville Crime Stoppers at 615-742-7463 and see if we can't help get some information generated in Jody's case and get her found and back to where she needs to be.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. And there again, another example of how a person can look different from photo to photo.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
You start adding filters and
hair color changes and
all bets are off, big guy.
Oh, yeah. My brother says Nashville's a big place. Thought about a few cases when I was there earlier this month. Yeah, he went there for a Liberty football game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was actually, sent me a picture he took of that bar where I can't remember that one young man's name that went missing. He was the last seen in Luke Bryan's bar there, and they found his body in the river. And my brother sent me a picture of that bar that he took while he was there. He said it's kind of a surreal experience to stand there knowing that somebody disappeared from there. Riley Strain, that's it. Thank you, Don. Yeah. Riley Strain, yeah. That was a bizarre case, too, because they found his body in the river, and they're thinking that, that he didn't end up there on his own. But, I mean, the police think it was an accident, but the family thinks he didn't end up there on his own. So, I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. And this is another one that just got a governor's reward added to it recently as well. This is Jason Backen, Leanda Pound, September, October 2022, Mound Valley, Mound Valley, Kansas, which is in Labette County. Jason Backen, 39, Leanda Pound, 43. They were found by a friend on October 3rd, 2022, shot and killed in their home at 693 16,000 Road in Mound Valley. Investigators believe the murders may have occurred up to a month prior to their discovery. If you have any information regarding Jason and Leanda's death, no matter how small the detail might seem, please call the KBI at 800-572-7463 or the Labette County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-795-2565. Anonymous tips can also be submitted online at kbi.ks.gov/SAR. And again, Governor Laura Kelly issued an executive order offering a $5,000 reward to anyone who provides information to investigators that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for the murders of Jason Backen and Leanda Pound. So let's see, again, see if we can't get information generated. And if anybody has information, again, no matter how small that detail might seem, it could be a big piece of what they need to put some pieces together to lead them in the right direction. So get that called in. You never know. It could be the piece they need.
$5,000 governor award.
Yeah. I got that in an email the other day, and I was like, oh, wow. It's that case I hadn't heard of until I got that email. So I was more than willing to get that flyer rocking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Addie Madison Wagner, Indiana case.
Yeah, we're kind of bouncing all over tonight.
Yeah.
Excuse
I've
me.
noticed quite a few unsolved homicides on tonight's show.
Yeah. And this is Andy Madison Wagner. She's missing from Evansville, Indiana since August 6, 2022. 24 when she was missing. She's now 25. She's got a birthday coming up next month as well. She's 5'4", 115 to 125 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Her nickname is Riri. Okay, again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 24. She's now 25. She's 5'4", weighs 115 to 125 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Has a tattoo of a dream catcher on her left forearm, tattoo of the name Joshua Brown on her right forearm, and finger tattoos, which you can see the finger tattoos down there at the bottom there. She was last seen wearing an orange tank top and jeans. If you have any information regarding Andy's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Evansville, Indiana Police Department Adult Investigations Unit at 812-436-7979 or 812-436-7896 and see if we can't help get her located and back home to where she needs to be. I wonder how much that hurt to have those tats done on the fingers. Oof. I couldn't imagine.
Oh, man. I'm just sitting here tripping how time is flying by.
Oh, I know.
It's almost 2025, dude. This is crazy.
I know.
Still no flying cars, by the way, Rick.
Oh, I know it. Back to the Future. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like my flying car at least.
Right.
If we're going to have to deal with all this stuff, at least give me a flying car. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out tonight. We have about 4 more cases to go to. They are going to be our regulars. These are very important. These are cases that, a lot of family members are watching, and they ask us to cover these weekly. And these are cases that are very, very cold, so we need to get some information on them. This one's not.
Remember this. It's a very surreal feeling to be standing in a place and walking through an area that such a high-profile case was connected to. It really makes you think. It was just so surreal. Could imagine. And this is Haley Davis. And let's see here. She's missing from Salina, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. She's 19. 5'6" to 5'7", 190 to 200 pounds. Her hair was dyed blonde. She has blue eyes. She was last active on social media on July 21st. It's believed she may be in Salina or she may be in the Wichita area. And she's 19, 5'6" to 5'7", 190 to 200 pounds. Her hair is dyed blonde. She has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Haley located and back home to her family. I know last week both of her brothers were watching. I haven't seen their names pop up in the comments yet, but I know last week both brothers were watching, so want to make sure we, cover Haley and help get her located and back home. They're really distraught over her disappearance and want to get her found.
Yeah. That's 19 years old, yeah. So that's coming up. That'll be a year Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty soon.
pretty soon.
Do you know what your population is? I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah,
Salina is
it's
a big.
close to 50,000.
Has that been a lot of growth since you were? Do you remember like 46,000 is what it's saying on Google? Do you remember
Yeah.
what it was like when you were growing up? Looks like it's been pretty consistent around up mid 40s since the 90s.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was like around 34,000.
Wow. Okay. So
So
that's
yeah,
a lot of people, man. At the end of the day, dude, that's a lot of people.
there's been a lot of talk of housing shortages and everything around here. I'm like, how? Where? It's not like we're having a population explosion. I mean, when they were getting ready to build a apartment complex out behind Menards where I work, it's going to have 254 apartments in it. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, man. Well, hopefully Haley can get this is, we're coming up on a year. You never want to see a missing person go on a year, especially when they're that young. So
Yeah.
again, we say young, but she's also 19 years old, so like she's an adult, so that's even kind of more scary because it kind of makes sense for somebody who's under the age of 18 to feel like they're under somebody else's rule and they take off on their own volition. But like this is an adult, so it's kind of scary, because like I don't know the facts, but like she's an adult, it's not like she's she could walk away from, like, so this is scary. This is a
Yeah.
situation where it doesn't look like, she's just maybe took off on her own volition. Who knows, man? So it's very,
Right.
very
Right.
scary, touch and go. Dana, Jane, Bruce, we have 3 cases left, and we are going to get out of here. We want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. We really appreciate everybody hanging out with us every Wednesday night at 9:30. Ricky's going to tell you about Dana, Jane, Bruce, a Sedalia, Missouri case.
Yeah, been missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she went missing. She's now 38. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight, gave the babysitter more money, and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. She was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with the young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with the man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that Dana was with that night. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance. Police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She doesn't have a cell phone, credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. At the time of Dana's disappearance, again, she was 23. She's now 38, 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends with red highlights, and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Dana has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their toll-free number 866-362-6422. See if we can get some information going on what happened to Dana and where she may be and get her back home to her family. Yeah, what's more than saying over here? When I was a kid in Salina, Kansas, Air Force Base was there, and the population dropped after it went out. Yeah, it did. Salina was a bigger, booming town when we had the base here, and then, like you say, after the base went away, yeah, population dropped dramatically. Some of that, from what I've heard, is the politicians around here are trying to keep it small because they don't want to have the big city problems. But guess what? They do have the big city problems. And Ellen says, thank you for sharing Dana's flyer every week. You're very welcome, Ellen, and hopefully it helps. We do have the drug problems. We do have the burglary and theft problems. Fortunately, we have a very low murder rate in this town. We have one every so often, nothing big. But I mean, one's one too many. But I mean, at least it's not like other towns where there's like one just about every night. So I'm grateful for that. But, so there still is times when crazy stuff does go on here.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kenny Wrightcheck, and I'm going to I I'm in the middle of I have a YouTube page, Derek Evan Relaford, where you can kind of keep up with what I've been doing every day. I'm doing like a video vlog thing. But right now we're working on a big project, a renovation of an RV that we bought. We have some big ideas for it. But eventually, once the RV is ready to go, probably 2 to 3 weeks, I do plan on heading up to Salina for the night, maybe a day or two, hanging out with Ricky. I want to
Cool.
go up on where he has days off. I want to go ahead and schedule all that. But while I'm there, Ricky, I would like to go around and see if we can find some information on again. The stuff I'm looking for is probably not going to help us find him, because I'm looking for older pictures and just more information about the guy. Like I feel
Right.
like you have just your story about the pinball machine, and it's how people were,
Yeah.
there was a mix of people who really appreciated Kenny's presence, and you had some people that you said picked on him, but it
Yeah.
seems like Kenny he was Salina. Like the people who passed by and saw him every day probably, they didn't know it at the time, but now that he's gone, they probably appreciated seeing Kenny Wrightcheck walk around, seeing Kenny Wrightcheck on his bike. Like he was a part of Salina. So I just
Oh
want
yeah.
to, tell his story, as about who he was. Great. Yeah, we know he's missing. We've been covered. This is the first case you and I ever covered together, but I just kind of want to find out who the guy was before he went missing, But anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead and tell everybody about Kenny, and we'll talk more about that obviously soon.
Yeah. There's a lot of folks that ask me all the time if I've heard any more about him or is there anything new in his case or anything like that. And I have to tell them sadly, I haven't heard a word. It's been just way too quiet. So McKinney is missing from here in Salina, Kansas since November 4th, 2019. He's 69 when he went missing. He's now 73. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, gray hair and blue eyes. Sometimes he uses the last name Brown as opposed to Rychek. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities and he's on disability. He hasn't tried to access any of his money since he was last seen. He may have family in northwest Kansas, possibly around Colby. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He left there and has not been seen or heard from since then. He doesn't have a phone, a vehicle, or any ID. His mode of transportation was a bicycle that he rode around all the time, that he'd pick up scrap metal and take it over to Salina Iron and Metal, which is now known as All Metal Recycling, and cash that in for pocket money. The information that I was given was his payees were not real good about making sure he had pocket money with him when he was out and about, so that's why he picked up the scrap metal and sold it, so he had pocket money when he was out running around. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 69. He's now 73. He's 5'9", 175 pounds. He has gray hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance, or you know his whereabouts, please call us. Excuse me. Please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210. Or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637. Or visit pd.saliner.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip, or call the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Kenny located and see if he's all right. He may be out there somewhere and not even realize he's missing and being looked for. I mean, you just don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, I just want to see, who he was, and it's just terrible. That's a terrible situation. He was, I don't think I've never thought anybody did anything maliciously. As far as like, Salina PD, they were doing what they had to do. They were doing their job and everything. But to me, Kenny, he said he had a little bit of diminished, mental health, capacity and stuff. Like, to me, those community members, we owe it to them to help protect it, to look after it. Like if you have somebody in your community that has issues, where they have like payees, where they do have issues just they don't have the same deck of cards that their neighbor may have, mentally and stuff. Like, it is up to us to make sure that they're okay. It is up
Right.
to us, because like, and it really, like, I'm not even, I worked in that field where you help people with mental health disabilities. I worked there for a year, but my wife's still working in that industry. She's been there 18 years, and I'm not blowing smoke, Ricky. Like, when I'm around people with special needs, I find myself enjoying their company more than I do my other friends,
Right.
because it's just, like, there's a lot of good moods. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that a lot of these people that have special needs that are intermixed in the community, I think that if you recognize it for what it is, it's a blessing. You have these really wonderful people that typically, are happy, have a smile on their face, trying to see the better in life.
Right.
And to me, I could never label that a disability. I think that's a blessing, to be blessed with, almost like an ignorance of not knowing just, how awful the world is, just to kind of have a calm and happy disposition. So, my heart goes out to anybody who has intellectual disabilities. And like I said, to repeat myself, I think it's our responsibility to look out for them. And again, nobody did anything wrong, but it's, I just feel like Kenny's it's the public's fault. We got to watch out for anybody that's in a position like he is, and here we are all these years later, we still don't know where the guy is. So it's just really rough.
Yeah. Did I send you? I don't think I sent you Cynthia Gonzalez. I had it pulled originally, and then my computer must have did like an update overnight, because when I got up this morning, everything I had pulled for the show was wiped out, and I had to go back in and try to remember everything from memory. So I'm gonna. There, I just shot you Cynthia Gonzalez's flyer. Let's see who's up next.
Last flyer I got here is going to be Alexander Perez, and I'm
Okay.
still needing to contact Candy and see what's going on with that hearing. I'm good to go now. Me and my wife, we sold our house. It closed on April 30th. We didn't receive payment until April 27th. So it was it was a long month. I didn't get a lot of work done on the back home media side of things, but I'm going to reach out to Candy and see what was said at the trial. But go ahead and tell us about Alexander Perez.
Okay. Like I said, I did just shoot you Cynthia Gonzalez's flyer. So if you want to, if we want to do it, we can. Because Heather Berry was making a comment about sharing some information on it. But Alexander Perez been missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 38. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, had black hair that he shaved nearly bald and brown eyes. Alexander contacted a family member on the phone December 1st, said he'd be coming over to do some laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses. Alexander has not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He'd been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It's believed Alexander may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City or surrounding areas. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 38. He's 5'11", 235 pounds. Black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He does have a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. Has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. Has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get Alex located and back to where he needs to be. And there definitely was an arrest made in the case that we've talked about. His name is Oscar Corrales, 44, of Garden City. He was arrested for second-degree murder connected to AJ's death. He was also arrested for racketeering, possession of meth with intent to distribute, possession of drug paraphernalia, and theft. Those charges were based on an investigation by Garden City PD and Finney County Sheriff's Office. He was arrested at the Finney County Jail where he's being held on unrelated charges. And, all suspects are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So they have him arrested on those charges. He's yet gone to trial. I guess you were saying they had a hearing?
Yeah, there was a hearing, and Candy said last week, he said there was a hearing, and he said that I'm gonna try to call him tonight. I'll see if he's awake. he said that he was going to kind of explain what happened, but it was basically just. And I've been to a couple hearings, here in the last few months with other stuff, and there's not a lot said at hearings, but there's enough to kind of paint a picture. So hopefully, when we do a show next Wednesday, I can have a little bit of information from Candy and kind of let the audience know what's going on with the whole Alexander Perez case.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Now it'd be good to have an update from that hearing and see what went on and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you want to cover Cynthia Gonzalez's case?
Did you send that one to me? I don't think you send it to me again because I loaded everything I had.
I just sent it to you just a few minutes ago, so you might check Messenger and see if it's there. Let me check.
It's not.
Shows
let me
sent.
See. Oh yeah, I think I got it. I got it. It's just I'm telling you, Facebook's not telling me when I have messages, dude. It's just not doing it. So you sent me 2 of okay, so it's just okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just sent it a second time. Just make sure you got it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Facebook did not say I had a message, and when I clicked on it, I saw the message there. But something I'm telling you, man, a month before Facebook's just like done for, dude. It's just gonna go down. But go ahead.
Something. That's something. Let me tell you. This will be the last one. But Cynthia Renee Gonzalez, September 22nd, 1991, Arlington, Texas. She was reported missing to the Arlington, Texas Police Department on September 22nd, 1991. Cynthia's body was discovered in a creek bed off County Road 313 in Johnson County, Texas. It was later determined she died from multiple gunshot wounds. Cynthia was reportedly at her apartment with her boyfriend when her husband stopped by to deliver their daughter for a weekend visit. Sometime later, Cynthia left for an appointment without her customary bodyguard. She was never seen again. Serial killer Kenneth Allen McDuff, 1946 to 1998, was looked at in connection with Cynthia's death. Jim Ford, longtime Arlington police officer and renowned homicide investigator, looked at McDuff in connection with Cynthia's case for going on 18 years. He was never able to make a match or a mismatch. McDuff was believed to have abducted a victim from a car wash in Austin, Texas. Cynthia's car, a 2-seat Pontiac Fiero, was seen parked at a car wash in Arlington on the day that she disappeared. There were similarities in the Austin case and Cynthia's case. He kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and killed his victim at a car wash in Austin. He dumped the bodies of several of his victims in rural areas. He killed several victims by shooting them. Investigators could not place McDuff in Arlington in the Arlington area and could not determine whether he was out on the streets at the time, but could not find him as being incarcerated at the time either. Other persons of interest have been cleared as well. McDuff has since been ruled out by DNA testing. If you have any information regarding Cynthia's death, please contact Sergeant Blake Ritchie at 817-459-5772. If you wish to remain anonymous and possibly receive a reward of up to $1,250, please call the Toronto County, Texas Crime Stoppers at 817-469-8477. And okay. Heather was saying that Cynthia's case is officially under review for the first time in 32 years. And there's a new detective assigned to the case, Detective Stafford, Arlington Cold Case Unit. Oh, okay. Was not aware of that.
Yeah.
But,
well, I'm going to call this the Unsolved Homicide episode, man. You just really...
Yeah, I definitely wanted to cover the 3 that I talked to the moms on, and because they're really wanting to, they're really wanting to get some closure on those cases and get the people responsible behind bars and off the streets. And can't say that I blame them for sure.
Yeah.
Jordan Foster just messaged in the comments, Dietrich Foster missing unsolved homicide. Yeah. Initially, I had him pulled for tonight's show, and then my computer did its update thing and wiped out everything, so I had to go from memory on everything I pulled, and that was another one I forgot to pull. So we will definitely get Dietrich on next week.
Well, I usually have him on here, but so we've been like basically there used to be multiple studios on the program we use. And when I moved, I basically erased everything. So we've been using one studio. So I've been erasing the flyers every week and adding them. And I didn't get Dietrich's added. If you can send it to me, I don't mind. I'll hang out for a few more minutes if you want to send it to me.
Sure.
I think it's important. I've been talking to his relation and a lot of stuff going on. Just maybe not even movements in the case, but just like there's a lot of it. The crazy thing is a lot of the stuff that's going on happens in like Facebook comment sections. Like it's crazy what kind of stuff is said.
Yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with the comments too much because I've been so busy, but I don't know. Let's see, I got to find the latest flyer here. All I have is the old stuff. Oh my goodness, because I'm on my computer. Facebook is still being stupid. Quite honestly. So let me do this. It won't take me but a second. I always have a backup plan. Have to in this business. Okay. Oops. Doggone it. Okay. What in the world? Okay. Facebook, you can keep me down, but you can't keep me out. That's all there is to that.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna cover Dietrich's case. Mark Zuckerberg could just get over it, dude. We're covering Dietrich's case. I am not afraid.
Send it. Oh. Get that off of there. Okay. There.
Is it still just giving you that much trouble?
Well, the computer is, yes. It won't even pull up Messenger, so I'm having to. Basically, what I'm doing is I emailed the flyer to myself from my computer, and saved it to my phone, and now I'm sending it to you, and it's in your inbox.
I got it. Look at that. Facebook working the way it was intended to. If Facebook does go down like I'm predicting, I really do want to say thank you because it did wonders for my life. I really enjoyed Facebook now that I think it's definitely going down. I really enjoyed it, man. Facebook was a great place before they started fixing it years ago.
And Heather Bear is asking, can you watch this podcast on YouTube, TV? I was just wondering. Yeah, I'll just go to the YouTube channels, Ricky Tabruggi, Kansas Missing and Unsolved, and I think you have to click on the lives to find it, I believe. Okay, Dietrich Foster missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12th, 2020. He was 37 when he went missing. He's now 41. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Dietrich was reported missing on May 12th. He was last seen around April 12th in Independence, Kansas. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 37. He's now 41. He is 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Does have a scar on his chest from heart surgery and a scar on the right side of his nose. He has the following tattoos: a cross on his right forearm, the astrological sign for Gemini on his right arm, 3 dice on his arm, the name Dejeuner on his arm, and the word Foo on his abdomen. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance, his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So,
yikes.
Any information you have at all, no matter how small you think it may be, get it called in and see if that might be the information they need to get them going in the right direction. Because you never know. It's been small pieces like that people think, well, I know this, but it's not that big a thing. But it turned out to be just what they needed to get them going where they need to go to make an arrest. So
the last straw to bring down the house of cards for the perp,
Oh, yeah. So definitely, if you have any information, call it in.
Well, Rick, great show.
Yeah.
A lot of unsolved homicides, it looks like, in our state.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, do what you do to get us out of here. And everybody will be back next week at 9:30. And please tune in. And we are going to cover a bunch more cases and keep doing what we're doing.
See, Robin Shope real quick. She says, how does one go up about setting up a reward? I've asked KBI and they couldn't tell me anything. Usually you want to work with the police department on that, but some people start a GoFundMe to start raising the funds for a reward. Some people establish a bank account that's for reward funds only. And that way they have it in a separate account that can't be touched. It's just strictly devoted to the reward fund. But yeah, I would work with the police department on that, and they can help you with that. Okay. Well, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight to go over these cases. And, as always, I always pray that these cases will reach the right ears and the right heart, and we'll do the right thing and call that information in to get these people brought home or to bring somebody to justice that's committed a crime. That's what I pray for every week. Just hopefully people will do the right thing and do that. I pray they will. But again, thank you for bringing us together to do this, and I pray the show gets shared out, the flyers get shared out. Until we meet again next week, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. God bless, and amen.